Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm an award-winning filmmaker, curator, and dancer. I grew up looking at New York as the place to be because all my passions were born here, or they were like developing here more than anywhere else. As graffiti, as hip hop, as dance, and definitely also the film industry. My passion for graffiti started in around early 90s when I was going to my high school. I was taking a train, and in this little trip I was looking at to a lot of graffiti on the trains, and I was also surrounded by a lot of friends that were doing graffiti. I started like tagging and doing graffiti as well, but I didn't like pursue seriously that because I saw how dangerous was, like on the beginning, especially for the graffiti, they are not just on the legal wall. You need to like climb. I figured that wasn't like something like necessarily for me, so I kind of like, moved to other type of media, art media. Graffiti started in New York City, in basically the forgotten neighborhoods. It's something that developed in the African American community and the Latin ones. So people were trying to make a name for themselves in the society. So it was more like, okay, I want to play with my identity also because you don't accept my identity. So the name, you were choosing your name, that were becoming your like personality, your like alter ego, and then you were putting like your name in topic places so people could learn your name. But there was like definitely an aesthetic related to that. Aesthetic is something that belonged to hip hop, which is like a subculture of the African American culture. So graffiti developed a lot. So at some point, people, instead to just write their names, they started to add other things. There was like a character. They started like putting like Disney characters. They decided maybe to create their own, incorporating like a comic stuff in the graffiti and all that. At some point, what happened is that a lot of artists of any type, from like fine art, even photography, or whoever, kind of understood the power of the streets. So many people that were not even on the streets and they didn't develop their name, blah, 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 they decided to use the wall as a support for their art. Street art is not just spray cans. Street art is also wheat and paste, which is like posters, stickers. Stickers art is anything. Street art, it's art in the street. So that's what basically means. And the relationship with the graffiti is because they use the wall, the mural, but it's not really. There is not, especially right now, there is a big distinctions, and graffiti is definitely going to almost disappear. I think we are beyond that. So, as graffiti was pretty much like to describe a certain type of aesthetic, or like people that were doing a certain type of art that was called also graffiti. It's a bad name to say these people were kind of like primitive, using the wall and being vandals. I think from the lettering to what is now, it's not important like how to call the art that they do, but maybe observe how things have been changing. Right now, I think it's less. That term is gonna probably maybe disappear a little bit. As graffiti unfortunately is disappearing a little bit. I mean, we always going to have new generations and new people, they're like attracted about the past and the history. I really hope so, and they might want to like, you know, try and keep it real, keep it like, you know, kind of back in the days. But yeah, and if they do so, you might call what they do graffiti or whatever street art, because it's related with someone or something that has been done before. But what is now, I think it's just like art on the street, you know. The street art, the name, I think is more for the people that enjoy art, so they have a better understanding of what they're seeing and what they're experiencing, but it's not a term that belongs really to the artists, to the makers of that specific art. So graffiti is something illegal. You can do things that are also legal because you might find a way to survive. Many times legal murals means paid commissioned work. You do stuff that are illegal, it's what is the root of graffiti. So if you do graffiti, you must do illegal walls, otherwise you don't even call it graffiti, you know. Street art is usually commissioned work. Not necessarily though. I mean, now it's mostly commissioned, but like a lot of people, if we think about Obey, for example, that he comes from the propaganda of the street art, that for example, it's something like putting like manifesto, very political type of things. They were so illegal, like he was always like written and passing like his posters like, you know, illegally. Now he's so famous, so he gets big commissions. A lot of these graffiti artists, they were trying to make a living with their art. Everything started from the Bronx in terms of like hip hop and so graffiti. So a lot of things were like actually uptown. The first gallery called the Fashion Moda, it was like the first graffiti gallery, was in the Bronx. So everything was uptown, was in the Bronx, was like where also all the African Americans were, and a lot of Latinos as well. When the scene found the punk scene downtown with the CBGB, Lower East Side, when they started hanging out together, I think we see like something that can be more like, okay, this is urban, this is like punk, this is hip hop, but since like unfortunately I have to say it, but like punk and the downtown scene was also like way more white, and these people have way better access to galleries, to like, you know, venues, but they were friends with the uptown. Maybe some of those people use their privileges in a better way, and they maybe welcome like more people of color, more artists, like, you know, in these kind of exhibitions, and then got graffiti more popular. And I guess, you know, we arrived to this time where museums, they have to show history, they have to talk about what happened. And I think this is a movement that also influenced so much art in general. It's a very old school way to look at, but I think I embrace this way to be, this old school, where you kind of learn and sit down and listen to the people that started. And because I think that's very important for the new generations to learn and then completely change it and do something else, or maybe, you know, I don't know, be creative in a way that it's original, it's new, but at the same time it's meaningful, because, you know, they open their mind, their soul to what was about. I mean, they have the information and the knowledge to today be, you know, something different. When you are forcing yourself in a way to translate what you do on the wall, on a canvas for a gallery, in that translation, in that change of support, can be a missing of things that what you're gonna see at the museum you might don't understand because it's out of the context. So the streets are the context, because if you want to understand hip hop, you need to go on the streets. If you want to understand graffiti, you need to talk with black people and Latinos. If those people are kept out of this conversation, what you like seeing, what you're listening is not the truth. I had like a gallery, and what I was doing is, again, kind of use my privilege of an Italian European person that is very passionate about what graffiti is, and giving a space to these people to express, to be.